Recording in progress.
Hey guys, so how to grow a bookkeeping business. Now if you want more bookkeeping clients, I'm going to show you the best ways to grow your bookkeeping business and scale towards 6 figures. Now for me, it took me about 16 months to get to 17 grand a month in sales for bookkeeping and CFO services. Now if I had had videos like this when I got started, it would not have taken me that long. You see, the first 6 months, I didn't make any money because I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing things like, I put out like this flyer that is, let me see, I don't know if I have one, I don't have one in this exact room, but like this flyer brochure that I would take to like my local chamber of commerce. I would do cold calling. I spent months making a website, and there's just all these different things that I just didn't really understand that caused me to struggle. So hopefully these videos can help you. Now also, if you want to like skip watching a bunch of videos and you want direct help with reaching your goals, go ahead and click the link inside the description either above or below the video to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program, okay? So one reason why a lot of bookkeepers struggle when it comes to growth is because a lot of us have been told very antiquated marketing methodologies that, worked in the past but are no longer very effective today. Stuff like, networking, or it's all about who you know, or, if you do great work, then people will see, or if you build it, they will come. And it's like, that doesn't really exist nowadays because there's just so much competition. The bar of what is good versus what is bad is so blurred that it's very hard for you to stand out unless you really understand the stuff I'm going to teach you inside of this video, okay? So let's go in, let's attack. So step number 1, okay? Finding high quality clients. Now, 90% of people's problems comes from going after the wrong clients. If you have good clients, everything is easier. If you have bad clients, everything is harder. The reason why is because people that are generally bad, they're going to not want to pay you the full amount of money to work with you. They're going to be the ones that haggle. They're going to be the ones that say your price too high. They're going to be saying, like, how much experience do you have? Or why should I work with you when I could go work with this other person? And it can be very, very, very demoralizing. But what I found is that people actually want to pay you a good amount of money, respect your skill sets, and they want to move forward quickly. They're generally the best quality clients. Now, number 1, I'm always looking for patterns, okay? Patterns are important because if something works at a small scale, it usually will work on a larger scale. That's just something in my experience I've learned from advertising. I learned from getting new clients. I've learned from, doing sales. It's just when something works, it works. So one thing you can do is you can go and choose 3 to 4 different types of businesses that you should be like having a little bit of interest in working with. Now, some people will call this niching. I don't really call it niching because whenever I think of niching, I think of someone locking themselves into one particular target market that they think is going to give them the most money. So like a number of years ago, it was like a lot of people were like, oh, I want to go after cannabis, right? There was a couple programs that would teach people how to like go after like the cannabis industry. And it's like, well, if you don't have a background in cannabis, you don't really understand how the industry works, you don't speak the lingo, you've never even talked to someone you've never even been inside of a dispensary, there is no way you're going to be considered an insider into that game. And a lot of people really struggle with that niche. So what happened was they spent 6 to 7 months targeting that and thinking about that. Actually, probably even more. I spent more like a year. So they spent like 5 months learning, cannabis bookkeeping, cannabis accounting. Then they spent 3 or 4 years going after them. 3 or 4 months going after the cannabis clients. Then they figured out that no one wanted to work with them, and they had to go and pivot, right? So it's like, just cut out all that trial and error and just go straight, and like I'd probably save yourself some time by going after 3 or 4 that you have like a little bit of an affinity to, and that'll make it a lot easier. Now, next thing, I want to go after clients that already have. I want to go after people that already have contractors in place. I never want to be someone's first contractor. Now, you might have heard me say this on like other videos inside of our channel, but when a business owner is used to spending money to make the business grow, they understand the principle of investment. You have to invest in order for something to grow. You have to invest your time, you have to invest in technology, invest in labor, or you can invest in ideas, right? Or capital. We'll say money. Now, The best way is if they're already used to spending money to go and buy labor, right? Or if they spend money to go and invest in technology, they are a person that's going to invest. If you're talking to someone like, they're like, oh yeah, I don't really have any like main expenses. I'd like to keep my expenses super low. Yeah, I don't believe in hiring people. I just want to keep this thing very small. That's not a person that's going to pay you $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month for accounting and bookkeeping. That's someone that's going to be looking to pay like $100, $200 and just like basically, get away, for free essentially. And that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for well-paying people to like really pay for the skill set you built up. Cool. Next thing is like starting to build trust and authority. So you can build trust and authority in a lot of different places. So you can do it while you're on a consultation call. You can do it slightly before the consultation call. You can do it after the consultation call. You can do it in your social media content. You can do it in your networking event. It's all about learning how to build trust with people. So you can do this in your word frames of talking about your story. How long have you been in the game? What caused you even want to like start your own business? Why should someone work with you? Right? That's we call it your attractive character. Right? It basically is. I was talking to a student the other day, and he's like a potential person potentially joining the mentorship program. He's kind of has to get some stuff in order before he can like join the program. But what he said was he got on the phone, and this dude immediately goes, "How old are you?" Like, it's a legal hiring question, Usually you wouldn't get asked on a job interview, right? It's legal. But for these clients, if you don't know how to, like, approach this stuff, and, like, it wasn't even a big deal. It was not even like he's that young. He was, like, I think he was, like, 27, 28 years old. So it's, like, it shouldn't have been, like the person treating like he's, like, 18, 19 years old, right? But if instead he had an attractive character story that basically told the story in a very, attractive way, then the business owner would not even have asked that question because he'd be like, cool, you're the person to go with. You're the person I respect your skill set, I respect how long you've been in the game, and then you could start going and attacking from there. But since you didn't have that, it caused the person to kind of like really go after his credibility. And that happens to a lot of people, especially if you're newer to the field or you're newer to like having your own business. That's one thing we've kind of like noticed a lot of. So just really understanding how to build that trust really quickly. Now, the next thing that's really important too is you can do that with your content. So this is one thing that we're going to be talking more about on our channel than like what we used to, because like historically we didn't really talk that much about content because you don't necessarily need content to get clients. It just makes it easier for clients to respect you so that when they do get on the consultation call, they close faster, they're willing to pay you more, and the conversation's is a lot more, it's just a better conversation. So before I made content, I had to do a bunch of objection handling, right? And it was just like, I'd be a master at sales. After you start making good content, after you start having like testimonials that you can send to people before and after the call, shoot, someone says they're not interested. Okay, cool, man. Go watch his videos, go read my blog posts, go follow along with me. And, when you do change your mind, it's cool. And they generally change their mind really, really quickly. So we're going to be talking more and more about content over time, right? Also learning how to use like testimonials and case studies. Like let's say that you do tax planning. You should be keeping a running list of how much you are saving each of your clients, right? So you can like you want to be like one of those like lawyers where it's like $1 billion saved for my insurance injury clients or whatever, right? Same thing with like tax planning and tax prep, right? We saved $10 million last tax season. That's something cool. Then you can have like testimonials, like videos of people or recordings or even like written testimonials that people have had. If you have those, you just throw them at people. It's like cool. They respect you. They understand what you do. Next thing when it comes to running your business successfully, it's all about streamlining your operations. So whenever I think about streamlining your operation, number one, I'm thinking of like workflows for efficiency. Now, if you don't have clients, you're not going to have like, accounting and bookkeeping workflows right away. Like please do not be that person that spends like 6 months building out their workflows. Like they have like all these different like fancy workflows inside of QuickBooks. Maybe they have like an automated email sequence for when someone signs up with them, and it's just not that necessary. Like, I still do not have an automated email onboarding sequence. I have like a series of steps that I manually send to people. Like I manually will send them the DocuSign. I'll manually send them the invoice. It's like by most people's like automation standards, it's not great, but it's effective, right? And the reason why I do this is because it's important to know like what should you be automating versus like what should you be like taking care of like personally, right? And it's all about like learning. If it's not going to take that much time but it's important, I would handle it. So for example, one of the last things I want to have happen is like I sign up a client and then the onboarding messes up and doesn't send them the engagement letter. right? Then we have to like wait for an extra day, or the person could change their mind, or the person feels lied to because you told them that you'd send them an engagement letter, but all of a sudden it doesn't come. Okay, so now you set off on the wrong foot. But if every single time you're the person sending it, it takes you like 2 to 3 minutes because you have like a template version of it. Like literally, you can do a template email and then a template engagement letter, sign in DocuSign. Like it takes me 3 minutes to do that. 3 minutes to go into and like do both the onboarding email send to people, like the welcome email, as well as the instructions on giving me any kind of documents that maybe they didn't give me before we started working together, and the DocuSign. So it's so fast. It's so fast. But even outside of that, let's say you don't have the like clients. Like I would not want you to be working on your onboarding or working on that stuff. Like figure that stuff out once you start getting clients. You're not going to get that many clients in the beginning that you're going to be overwhelmed with your onboarding processes. Like it's not going to be like that. Sometimes people get really fearful about that. Like, oh my gosh, what if I start my business and I get too many clients? It's like, I wish that was the case for you, and I'm not speaking it out of existence that it won't happen for you, but 90% of people do not get too many clients when they start their business. If you get that, that's the best problem you can probably have in the world. Like, that's the best problem you can have. But for most people, you won't have that. What you're really going to have trouble with is learning to schedule out your day so that you can actually start getting clients. So, number one, when I'm first getting started, the first thing I want to do in my day is I want to do marketing. Now, the reason why marketing is so important to do in the beginning is because marketing is like the easiest thing to push off. And it's kind of like going to the gym. I don't know if you're anything like me, but like when some days like, and this is, it's kind of now, kind of not, but like whenever I'm trying to lose weight, like right now I'm trying to lose about like 10 to 20 pounds for a number of different reasons, but I'm going to probably lose like 20 pounds. And it's before I had this goal, it's very easy to be like, yeah, it's Wednesday, I don't want to work out today at 10 o'clock, for whatever reason, let me just do this. Like, I'll work out maybe at like 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock comes, you don't go work out. It's the same thing with like the marketing, it's like, yeah, I don't want to go on LinkedIn, I don't want to do this today, I don't want to do this, like let's do it later. Later never comes. Because then what happens, like let's say that you're maybe you're working from home now, and like your spouse comes home at 5 o'clock, and then it's chaos from there. And it's like you have to go cook dinner, you gotta go and get your kids ready for bed, just a million different things that happen, and just kind of pushes off. Or you could even have like where like maybe you have a younger family, and it's like right when you try and do like work after like work, your spouse like, oh, let's just watch a movie. Oh, why aren't you watching movies with us anymore? Or it could be like, why always work on the computer? You should be like here with us, like fully like here with us. And it's like, what? I'm trying to like change our lives, you know what I mean? But it's like, so you have to learn how to really schedule your work day. Now, for me, what I think about is I like order of operations. Man, my mouth is really dry, dude. Like I am dehydrated. Crazy, man. Having to take care of yourself. So stupid. I wish that like the more money you made, the less maintenance your body required. It's funny. It's like the opposite, man. It's like the more that I make, like the softer that my body seems to become. But that's good, Always different problems that we kind of learn to kind of live with and stuff. But yeah, so first things first is marketing. After that, I want sales activities. That's just like if I schedule a sales consultation call. Now keep in mind, this is not to be like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. It's whatever your work block is. So if your work block is 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., okay, first thing I want to do is the marketing. Second thing I want to do is sales. And the third thing we'll talk about in a minute. Or if you have all day, okay, first is marketing, second sales, third is this. And that will allow you to be able to kind of like shift your schedule of maybe if a day off work, maybe it's a holiday, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But it allows you to be able to really control and like give yourself the best chance of growing your business. So the reason why I also put sales second is because a lot of times you won't have a sales call that day. So if that happens, you just condense that time period. You can either go and spend more time on marketing, or you can go and do the third thing, which is client work. Now, client work, assuming you have some clients, okay, I like doing that last in my day. That's responding to client messages or texts or emails. That is, checking my client work, that's looking through QuickBooks, seeing if anything has changed, or anything's gone wrong, talking to contractors. I want to do that thirdly in my day, because the most important thing, at least at the stage that if you're watching this video, is your growth stage. So your most important job is to grow your business. You might think it's like, well, Bryce, isn't my job to like just take care of my clients? Yes and no. Like when you get to a point to where you're holding in your business, then yes, number one is taking care of your clients. But if you're trying to grow and like you don't have your monetary goal, if you focus too much on your clients, by the time you get to the end of your client work, you're gonna not have as much time for the marketing and sales. And again, marketing and sales is a thing, or we'll say marketing. Marketing is the easiest thing for you to push off till tomorrow. And if you push it off till tomorrow, too many days in a row, you end up not having clients, and now you're losing in terms of the year. But if you always have a time to do like the marketing, it's very unlikely that most people are going to push off doing client work. So we know that you're going to get client work done whether you do it in the beginning or the end. But the thing that matters is the marketing. Okay? So that's how I'm thinking about like just really managing my time, really managing my workflow. Okay, next thing is pricing and retention. So we have to be focused on retaining good clients and pricing well. Now, this might seem like it's in contrast to what I just said. Like, well, Bryce, you just said the marketing is more important than maintaining a client. Yes and no. Marketing is important to grow, pricing is important to grow, and then you have to retain the clients eventually. Now, just because it's not my number one priority does not mean it's not the most important thing, right? Because you don't want to just have like a revolving door where you get a client, you lose a client, get a client, lose a client, because that's not going to make you very profitable short term or long term, right? So we have to make sure that we're doing the best we possibly can to make sure that our clients are satisfied. Now, in as much as this is about like doing good work, this could be just you sending out like text messages once a week, just checking in with them. This could be you scheduling like a call like once a week, maybe like on Friday or the weekend, right? Whenever you kind of have time, depending on your time and your structure is really where I'm thinking about this, right? But just allowing us to be able to stay in constant contact with these clients. And your goal is, in order to keep someone long term, it's a mixture of doing good work, but also keeping a relationship with them outside of business. So like, how are the kids doing? Learning about like what hobbies, what sports they have, sending people like cool gifts around the holidays, like sending them a handwritten card, just something that's like super, super important and just super, it just shows you care. I know that might be a weird thing for like maybe if you're an accountant or bookkeeper, like, I just want to get money, I just want to like, just service my clients, do the work, I don't want to talk to people. But you're never going to really grow and reach your full potential if you never like showing people you care, if you never develop some sort of care for people. I'm not saying you have to become a people person. I'm not saying you have to like be an extrovert. I'm just saying that like it's the little things that count, like sending someone like a birthday card. It's every new school year, seeing like how are the kids adjusting. It's during major holidays, like seeing how you're doing. Like, I don't know. I don't want to go too like touchy feely on you inside this video, but it's not always about like doing a 30-minute to an hour long meeting with someone just to kind of talk about the books. It's going to save your client relationships, right? But just try to care about people, man. That's all that matters. If you just care about people, you're going to keep them for a lot longer, because then people will care about you. Next thing, hiring and scaling. Do not hire too early. Okay? By the time that you hire, you should either have physically no time or you just don't want to do any of the work yourself. I don't hire people to like jumpstart my business for me. So like, I'll give you an example. You don't want to bring in a virtual assistant if you have no clients, because then you're going to be like, hey, virtual assistant, go learn how to use social media and like get me clients. Like, well, if you don't know how to get clients, you're not going to be able to hold those people accountable to get clients. Same thing with paying for like advertisements. Like, whenever you go and like work with a marketing agency, if you're a beginner, marketing agencies never work for beginners. That sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean, Bryce? Like, no. Because usually what happens with a marketing agency, there's so many factors outside of the advertising that cause someone to get a client or not get a client, right? So it's like only people that should really pay for a marketing agency is someone that's already spending like $10K, $15K, $20K per month on ads. If you're spending less than that, that means that your business is not really set up for you to take on the amount of clients that will come and the amount of like calls that will come from that. On top of that, right, marketing agencies generally have some kind of like monthly retainer that you have to like pay. So, and that can be like, again, like pretty high. So it's just like, you just have to kind of, you have to focus on what is something that you're already good at and that's already working inside of the company, so you can just like build a very quick like workflow or just really quick like SOP. So the first thing you'd probably do is like bring in like a staff accountant to do some of the work for you. That way you can keep doing marketing, keep doing sales. Once you start getting good at sales, maybe you can bring in someone that can do the sales calls for you. Now, if you're really good at sales, rather than have someone come and like do the sales calls for you, a better thing to do would learn how to start making content, right? Because then what happens is you can take less calls, but they're going to sign up at a much higher percentage, and you're going to be able to get them to pay you a much higher price point. So you don't need to quite do as much work. That's one thing that I did a couple of years ago, right? When I started this one reason why I started this YouTube channel was because I wanted to be able to get people for like my mentorship program, but I didn't want to have to like send a bunch of messages, go inside of Facebook groups, and like do a lot of stuff that like a bunch of like beginner marketing coaches do. So instead, I just started giving free value away on YouTube, right? And what is this? We started that in 2022. It's about 2-3 years. About 3 years on YouTube, and like it's been amazing. It's been amazing, right? And all my calls are people who are actually like relevant to working with us. They do a really good job. They get results, and it's great, right? So rather than like I tried to like get like sales reps to take my sales calls, and like those worked for a while, but I just didn't like it as much. Like you just kind of bring in people that aren't quite the best fits because your sales reps are just trying to bring people in. So I kind of opt to just get better consultation calls. And also, you want to keep your profit margins high. A lot of people when they're starting out, the people they bring on people at like these really just absurd price points because they want to like help people out. Where it's like, no, you got to keep your profit margins like strong, right? Because at the end of the day, depending on what you're trying to do, like you're trying to make money with this business. Like this is a cash flow business model, right? So at the end of the day, like you want to make sure you have some cash from it. Like you want to have cash from it. Like I cannot stress that enough. There's a lot of people where it's like they're in a cash flow business, but they're running it like it's like one of those like tech startups where they just keep investing more money and they never like turn a profit. And that's not what you want to do here. When it's like there's no real expenses, get that profit is as healthy as you possibly can. Yes, you might pay a little more tax if you don't really understand the tax code, but it's definitely well worth it because then you can get in the game, get out of the game, right? Just stack up, 200, 400, 500K in the bank. Let that stuff grow and let it bring you anywhere between 8 to 10% per year if you put in the S&P, barring a temporary like recession or whatever, which it'll recede and it'll go down, but then it comes back up, right? If you just keep it in there long enough. But all that to say is take the cash flow, build your team when you need to. Don't build your team like for where you're trying to go. Unless caveat is if you've built other successful businesses. If you built other successful businesses, okay, just do what you've done before. If this is your first business, please do not build a team until you absolutely need to, or unless you have like guidance. Like if I'm with you and I can tell you, okay, so bring this person on now, like it's a good time for you to do that, I can help you. That's why people do our mentorship programs, because we just walk you through what to do step by step, so there's absolutely no guesswork in what you need to do, right? Because markets change, businesses change, things change, and you need to have someone that's up to like the moment, up to the date. Now, if you want some help, like you've been watching these videos, or maybe it's the first video you've ever seen of me, right? If you want some help starting your business or growing your business, and maybe you've been running it for a while, it's just not quite going the way you want, or maybe you're trying to start it, but it's just overwhelming how much stuff's in front of you. Either way, go ahead and click the link inside the description, above below the video, book the call with me, let's see if I can help you inside our program, okay? All I want for you to do is I want for you to grow your business. I want for you to live a really good, simple life where you don't feel like you have to be trapped by your boss, your job, your work, society, just really being free to kind of do what you want, whether that's to go and travel more, whether that's to spend more time with your kids, just really making sure that you're living life by your design and by your choice, not just kind of taking what life tells you need to do. That's my mission. That's really why I started my businesses. That's, I was blessed. I was blessed with all like the right skills at the right time, and yeah, it cost me a lot of money to learn marketing and sales, but it's been like one of the most rewarding journeys of my life, and I'm really grateful I did it. I see a lot of people that I went to college with. I see a lot of people I went to college with, people I met after college, and kind of see how people's lives are going and like how like stressed out people are about money. Like they were doing this thing on like the news. They were talking about like eggs. Eggs were like I think it was like $7 or $8. I can't remember what it was, but it was like some astronomical like number, and people were freaking out about that. And I was like, huh, I don't really think about that. And it wasn't like, like this oh, I'm so, wealthy, I don't think about people and stuff like that. It was just more of like, it's not even in my concern, because every single time that I either want more money, I need more money, I just like either bring one more person into my accounting firm or into my bookkeeping business to kind of like grow the revenue compared to like, what I want to like buy. And that's a really rewarding place to be in, and I want you to kind of start getting towards there. I might be selfish, maybe I assume you want that, but that's why having a call with me to kind of discuss your goals, see what could be potentially possible for you, and if working out is a good fit, that's why I invite you to book the call, see if I can help you out, okay? I'll talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day. Take it easy.